At midnight, the Shaolin bells rang without being struck. You hear them first as a hollow ripple that carries farther than the air should allow, bell sounds suspended in the cool temple silence. A single monk stands in the outer courtyard, barefoot on cold stone. His robe hangs torn at the shoulder. His knuckles are split and raw. Behind him, the torches burn steady, their flames stubborn against a breeze you don't feel. Across the yard, 5 figures step from the dark. They are all dressed like monks, move like monks, and they move without sound. There is something uncanny in the way they float toward him. Perfect posture, practiced breathing, and yet none of them cast a shadow. You can tell immediately these are not ordinary intruders. They know every pathway of the temple. They know the closed-hand forms and the empty stances taught only to senior disciples. One of the 5 crosses the courtyard and speaks without malice but without softness. "You were never meant to remain," he says. The lone monk doesn't answer. He lowers his stance, the familiar grounding of a life lived in motion. They attack without signal. The first strike is a tiger claw from the left, ripping at intention. A crane strike drops from above, precise and cold. A sweeping dragon step arcs at the monk's spine, aiming to unbalance rather than to wound. He moves with the economy of someone who has survived by being minimal. No wasted motion, no flourish. He breaks a wrist to deflect a blow, redirects a knee before it can land, and uses an attacker's momentum to send one body skidding across the stone. When that monk rises, there is no blood, no cry, only an unnerving calm, as if the body is a statue and the person inside is untouched. Stone cracks underfoot, robes snap like flags in a driven wind. Breath comes in sharp bursts, close enough that you could count heartbeats. The lone monk adjusts. He stops executing full forms and starts fighting in fragments, half-steps, broken angles, unfinished strikes. There's a deliberate raggedness that makes his motion harder to predict. One attacker freezes mid-strike, caught by something invisible. Another staggers back, clutching his chest, unharmed but shaken. The rhythm of the assault stutters. "Impossible," one of them whispers, and it sounds like a confession. The monk, finally allowing himself speech, says only, "You move like echoes." Shadows flicker. For the first time, the attackers hesitate. Just a beat, and in that beat the monk closes his eyes. You can see the faint lines on his face tighten as he searches memory or prayer or technique. When he opens his eyes, something changes. His shadow, the one he has always assumed to trail him, splits briefly into 5. It is not a trick of light. It is a fracture in the air, a thing you would feel if you reached for it. The attackers stare as if they've been given a name. "You remember," one of them says calmly. The monk replies, "Yes, now I do." They surge together again, perfectly synchronized. 5, then 4, then an impression of many moving as one. The monk steps forward instead of away, closing distance where most would widen it. He moves with such economy that you almost miss the motion. One strike, precise and true. Not 5 blows, not a flurry, once. The sound of that strike is small, but it lands like a bell in a closed room. The courtyard falls quiet. The attackers stop mid-motion, their forms slackening, then they dissolve. Not bloody or dramatic, but like smoke drawn into stone, bodies evaporating into the air until nothing remains but footprints and the scent of old incense. The bells ring a final time. Dawn bleeds along the temple roofs. Novice monks hurry in, faces pale with wonder, to find the lone monk standing where he stood before, breathing steady. One bows and asks the question everyone wants answered. "Master, who were they?" He looks down where his shadow should be. For the first time, his shadow is gone. He answers simply, with a softness that lands like a settled stone. "They were not attackers. They were what I left behind." He turns and walks into the temple. The bells never ring again.